One thing I really appreciate about my Cricut machine is not only does it cut, but it can also write notes for you. Now, I don't have the neatest handwriting, so I particularly love this feature. So today, I'm gonna show you how you can write a note on the inside of a card. So we're gonna cut a design out on the outside and then have our Cricut also write a note on the inside of the card. If we're just meeting right now, hi, my name is Nisha. Welcome to Little Craft Nest. Now I'm going to be using the Cricut Joy today, the original, but you can also use the Cricut Maker or Cricut Explorer for this project. I will be using a card mat, so if you're using a Cricut Joy, you'll need the Cricut Joy card mat, or if you're using the Explorer or Maker, you will need one of the larger card mats. And I'll also be using some of Cricut's insert cards for this project. So we're starting off in Cricut Design Space. Make sure you have the correct machine selected. I'm using my Cricut Joy today. And then we're gonna head over to Projects, go down to the bottom and click Search All Projects. And under the drop-down menu here, I am going to look for Insert Cards. And here they are. There are so many different cards here that you can search through. I'm gonna type in birthday at the top, and I'm gonna select this one with the birthday cake. Over here, you can choose the size card that you're working with. I'm using the 4.5 by 6.25 inch card, so I'm going to select that and then click on Customize. Now, if you're using Cricut Joy cards in your Maker or cards intended for your Cricut Maker and your Cricut Joy, that's okay. It may be difficult to figure out what the exact size is, but what you could do is measure your blank card to make sure that your image fits on it properly. So this cake should be sized correctly, but let me show you how to make sure that this design fits on your card perfectly. So let's head over to Shapes. Let's select a square, and we're gonna unlock the size here and just type in the dimensions of your card. And then grab that image that you selected and see if it fits over top. Now, you can't see it because it's going behind our card, so let's go over to the Layers panel and drag that layer on top. So it looks like this design will fit on the card, but I don't like how much space there is at the top and the bottom, so I'm gonna actually stretch out my card just a little bit. So I'm gonna unlock this design and I'm gonna stretch my cake. We're gonna make it look a little longer and bring it up like this and bring it over. And I'm liking that much better. So you can always change up your image if you need to. Now keep in mind, because we did stretch out this card a little bit, the insert card may not fit in there perfectly. So you can leave the card as is according to Cricut sizes and your insert card will fit right. But if you go ahead and stretch it out like I did, you may need to adjust that insert card later on. Now, another fun trick that I like to do, sometimes the corners on your design look kind of, well, let's say boring. So I don't really like them, but we can find some new ones. So let's go over to Images and we're gonna type in card corners, and we've got a whole pile more options here now to choose from. Now, I like these wavy ones here that come up first. So I'm gonna place this on top. I'm gonna unlock that design so I can stretch it out and put those corners where I want them. So now they look like they'll fit exactly where their old corners are, but we need to get rid of those old corners. So let's click on our birthday card image, go down to the bottom right and click on Contour. And all you're gonna do is click on those original corners and those will disappear. So if you hover over it, you can see how it turns a lighter gray. Once you're hovered over that cut line, just click on it and it will disappear. So now we're gonna click on the X and you can see our original corners are now gone. But now we need to attach these new corners to our cake. So we're gonna select our corners and the cake, and let's make sure it's all centered first. So go to the top under Align. We're gonna make sure that's centered nicely, and then go down to the bottom right and click on Attach. So now our design has brand new corners, which is super fun. And we can place this on top of our card to make sure that looks right. That's looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now let's add some text that our Cricut can draw on the inside of this card. So let's go over to text and type out a birthday greeting. Wishing you a wonderful birthday. Now, because we want our Cricut to write this out, we need to change the operation of our text. So go up to the top and we're going to change this from a basic cut and we're going to change that to pen. Now we can also change our font as well. As you can see right now, the Cricut is going to draw around the outside of each letter, but I want a solid line. So with some of the fonts, like the Cricut Sans font, you could go over to where it says regular and change that to a writing font, and then you'll have a single line written font. So your Cricut will only draw that one line. Now, if you want to find more fonts like this, click on Cricut Sans at the top, and then we can filter our fonts. So under characteristic, you could click on writing fonts, and then you will have all the writing fonts show up here on the side. I like this one here. It is DJ Always, and that looks like a super fun birthday font. Now this text is way too big to put on our card, and it's the same color as my card here. So I'm gonna change the color of the card just so we can see it better. And then I'm gonna grab my text and make sure it fits in the center of my card. Okay, and now we're ready to cut this card out. But we don't need this background insert piece here. That was just our guide. So you can either hide it at the side here in the layers panel by clicking on that eye, or you can just completely delete it from your page. And then you can click on make. So on our first mat here, it shows our text. And our second mat, it shows our card. Make sure under each mat you have the right material size selected. So I'm doing the 4.5 by 6.25, and we're going to make sure that both of these are the same size. So that's the correct size there as well. Now, I don't want this font to be right at the top corner of my page, so I'm gonna bring it right over to the center of my card here. Now, it doesn't matter what order you do this in, whether you want to cut your card first or let your machine draw the letters first. Sometimes the order may be different on your screen. Maybe mat 1 is your cutout and mat 2 is your text. It doesn't really matter because you can click on either of them to have your Cricut machine do that step first or second. So now we're going to click continue and then browse all material, and then we're going to type in insert. For some reason, my search for materials has not been working recently. I think there's a little bit of a glitch there, but you can always scroll through your materials to find the right one. So under cardstock here, I'm using the insert card. So that is what I am selecting, and then click on done. So instead of starting out with our text, I want to start out with our cut. So I'm going to click on mat 2, and you'll also have to change the material for that. So browse material, and we're going to select the insert card, done. And now we can load our card mat and get this cut out. These are the insert cards I'm using today, and I've decided to use a light pink and a dark pink, but we won't be needing this insert quite yet, so we're just going to use the light pink card for now. Take the cover off of your card mat, and then we're going to open up our card and slide it in. If you're using one of the smaller cards, you can see where the edge of the card will meet on this mat. Just make sure you have the card pushed up towards the top. And then we're going to fold that down and slide it into our machine. And then press go on your computer. Once it's done, you can unload your mat. And then we're going to carefully peel this card back. So try to peel the mat off the card rather than just pulling it this way because you may rip it. So let's do this gently. And once you've got that top layer peeled back, you can slide your card out. And look how cute that is. We will be putting the insert in there in a minute. But first grab a scraper and take off all those extra pieces. We don't need these pieces, so you can just throw those out. Then you're going to grab your card, and we want it to write on the inside. So we're going to fold this back the other way. So now our design is on the back and we're gonna slide our design underneath here. So open this up and insert your card the opposite way here. And then we're gonna fold that inside of our card down. And then grab one of your Cricut pens and we're gonna pull that blade out and put our pen inside our machine. Now, because I started with step 2 and it's taking me back to step 1 now, I do need to reselect my material. So browse all material, insert card, done, and make sure you've inserted your pen, and then we can insert our card. And then click on go. Our Cricut has finished writing out our text and it looks absolutely beautiful, much better than my own handwriting. So now we can peel this off our card mat, slide our card out, fold it back the original way, and then grab your insert piece and we can slide it into our insert corners here. Now, because I changed out my insert corners, my insert piece is actually slightly too big, but what I can do is just trim this down a little bit and then it will fit perfectly. And that just fits so much better. This turned out super cute. We've got a really cute cut and then we've got our text there. So again, you don't have to use the Cricut Joy for this. You can use the Maker or Explore or the Joy Xtra. Just make sure you have the right card mat for your machine. I hope you enjoyed crafting with me today. Now, if you're really into making cards and you want a card that is sure to impress, check out this tutorial next, and I hope to see you on more crafting adventures.